right, we're back. It's Penn State week, officially. Is it me, or does it seem like we've talked about this game now for 4 months?
Because
now,
we
is this
have.
Penn State 2025?
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It has been a while, but finally it's here. Penn State week. Episode number 570 of Three Guys Before the Game.
Are you sure?
We are.
Did you get that audited?
The Senator. That is the Hoppy. And we're ready to do this thing. Thanks so much for being with us. We got a lot coming your way. For those of you that are coming to the game this week, we got a lot of special stuff that we want to show you and guide you through. Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us, as always, by Comax Business Systems, West Virginia's place for keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. That's more than 24.
That is.
Yep.
Yes. Correct, sir.
Three Guys also brought to us by Gomart. Get yourself a Gomart rewards card. Go to gomart.com for details. Get in that game. Score the ultimate tailgating package at Gomart. Enter to win. I guess Gomart's doing something different now for fans that don't want to stop on their way to the game. If you're coming up one of the major interstates in West Virginia, you got this truck that'll come alongside your vehicle. That arm comes out, hooks up to your gas tank, and they refill you.
Like how airplanes do sometimes. Yeah.
Don't do that.
I don't think that's confirmed yet.
Congratulations.
That might be in development, but it's not confirmed for this weekend.
Efforting.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Gomart for that. Three Guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales.
Heck of an idea if you could do that.
.com. Boy, that would be nice. Wouldn't it? That would be nice.
Wait to say something. That would be extremely dangerous. Okay,
No,
extremely dangerous.
No, because if they can do it with airplanes, they could certainly do it with cars.
Well, you know, when they do it with airplanes, okay, granted, that might be a little difficult, but there's nobody else around. You want to do that on 79?
There's a bend or two in the road.
Is somebody driving down the road not paying attention?
We could figure it out.
Add details.
Three Guys also brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. Tudor's Biscuit World. They're going to get busy, man. Game weeks for them. Woo!
Noon game.
Right,
so you need some early
People
food.
be wanting them biscuits.
A couple of those Mountaineers that won the World's Championship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Three Guys also brought to us by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. All right, let's do this thing.
By the way, I got some numbers. I had to stop myself again. I was so deep in the weeds, I didn't even know what I was looking at anymore.
He was,
Like, what is this? What does this mean?
What
Why
does
am
it
I
mean?
looking? How did I end up on this page? What's it mean? What am I looking for? Shut it down. Stop. But I do have a couple that I found of
No, that's good.
some interest.
No, your
Some
stuff
interest.
is usually. I mean, your stuff is next level stuff. So
we got a lot going on. The food court opens tomorrow, which is Wednesday. We're recording on Tuesday, and the food court we'll talk about in detail. But I got a lot of text in the last several days, people saying, okay, time, where. So time, super simple. 4 o'clock until 10 o'clock, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 4 p.m. until 10 o'clock, Wednesday,
That's
Thursday,
Eastern
Friday.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you might want to call Brett Yormark. They might want to make it 9 or something. Anyway, and then on Saturday, 8 a.m. until noon. 8 a.m. until noon on Saturday. And then we'll do it every week after, Friday, Saturday, every week after. We're not doing Wednesday every week after. We're just doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to get the season started.
Just go 1 week at a time. Just tell them this week, right? Wednesday through Saturday, University Avenue, right next to Daniels.
Correct.
If you miss it, you're not looking, because the giant Empire State Building size trailer that Rev Kev has for all that barbecue is sitting right there.
Correct.
huge.
Massive. That's been placed. We'll talk about that coming up. Also, the debut of our latest beer through the folks at Parkersburg. They're tremendous. Tremendous. We got a new beer. We're going to debut it. In fact, we're going to sample it on this episode. That'll be coming up in just a
Well, you
little
guys
bit.
are. I got an early sneak peek preview.
You did.
Oh, you had some already?
Had some.
He went over to Jim's house, the guy over there from Parkersburg, and he had about
Parkersburg Brewing Company.
yeah,
Jim.
yeah,
Oh, really?
Parkersburg.
Had a little taste.
Went
Wanted to make
back
sure
to
it was okay.
back to his back porch there on Saturday. Had about 11 of them.
Kind of like I respect you two. I
Yeah.
respect both of you. So I was kind of like your taster ahead of time.
Oh, thank you.
Pre-taste. So
You
Hoppy and I'll
pre-taste
taste it.
just in case.
Thank you.
All right, so here we go.
I
That's
appreciate
good.
that.
You'll like it.
By the way, you know what happens if you try to fuel your vehicle while it's running?
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
You know what? You see the warnings?
Yeah, don't do
Because
that.
there's vapors and there's electricity and can cause fire and explosion. So before the Gomart folks start researching that, and follow Tony's suggestion, know that there's a high risk there.
Let me just tell you something. They got a chief engineer in charge of petroleum distribution. That's that gopher that they use. That guy's in charge of that. That gopher is in charge. He figured it out. He didn't worry about no vapors.
You see the burns on the side
By
of
the
his
way,
face?
wait till you see this can here.
It's a nice looking can.
Can's gorgeous. Can is gorgeous. All right,
go
so
ahead. Get into it.
on
Game
Thursday when we come back, we're going to do the actual keys to the game. This episode is that we are giving you, speaking of gophers, we're going to give you nuggets. We got nuggets, Hoppy.
Okay.
Nuggets.
Well, hold on. Before you do the nuggets, I think Hoppy has a take. He wants to go first.
Is it under the Conley CPA umbrella?
Oh, okay.
Don't you want to go first?
Sure, because mine pales in comparison to yours.
Well, I don't know if it pales, but you're probably going to go big picture. I'm going to go down into some.
Yeah, you go micro, I go macro. This is a must-win game for Penn State.
Oh, I see what he did there.
This is a must-win game for Penn State. Why? Because if you read what's been written all offseason about Penn State, if you watch any of the podcasts about Penn State, of which there are 77 of them that are out there, what are they saying about Penn State? Brad, what's James Franklin done over 10 years?
He's won a lot of games.
Won a lot of games, right?
Yeah.
What hasn't he done?
Struggled with Michigan and Ohio State.
Right.
He hasn't won a World's Championship.
He's not won a World's Championship, has not gotten to the playoffs. They've won New Year's Day bowl game, going to New Year's Day bowl games. They win 10 games. Yet there's still this grumbling that exists because they have a poor record against Ohio State and against Michigan.
And
now,
no Ohio State on the schedule this year.
What's that?
And no Ohio State
No,
on their
Michigan.
schedule.
They have Ohio State.
Oh, is it Michigan? One of the
Michigan's
two.
not on it. So this year, and their 2022 recruiting class was ranked like 6th in the country. So they got this recruiting class. It's reaching fruition. They have their quarterback back. Brad, they got those running backs. They got those 2 defensive ends. Mm-hmm. They believe they are loaded. They are loaded.
I think they are loaded.
Yeah,
they don't just believe it. I think
yes,
they are.
They are loaded. So the expectation is they can hardly contain themselves, not the players, they can hardly contain themselves from saying this is the year. This is the year, especially with the expanded playoffs, to make the playoffs and make a run in the playoffs. So what can they not afford to do? They can't.
Probably shouldn't come in here and lose.
Right. They can't stub their toes. Now you can with the 12 team, you can stub your toe and still get in there. But you still got to play Ohio State. You still got to play USC on the road. You still got to play Wisconsin. So it gets harder if you have to do that. So I think and they're not going to fire James Franklin, even though they grumble in Happy Valley all the time because he hasn't won the big game because his payout is $50-some million and he's got 7 more years on his contract and he's won a bunch of games. So they're not going to do that. But there still is grumbling because there's a feeling that they still haven't reached Penn State level. But this is the year they're supposed to do that. So this is a gigantic game for them. There is much more pressure on them in this game than there is on West Virginia.
Kercheval, more Penn State pressure.
I think that's
you're right.
Well stated, Hoppy.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Kind of amazing when you do look at their schedule. Just look at the schedule. UCLA, USC, Washington. I mean, here it is, man. We talked about it. It's happening, and it's happened.
But what's important, too, is who's
weird
not
as
there.
Weird as heck.
You know, is no Michigan, no Oregon.
And they got the Buckeyes at home.
They got
November
them at home.
2nd.
So they think like that it's laid out for them. And when you read the analysis on the Penn State version of this, it's Brad, just don't stump your toe at West Virginia. You know, you got to start West Virginia.
Right. I think you're right, Hop. I think you're exactly on this. I do.
Thank you.
I do. I think you're right on top of it. Yeah, that's good. That's a good take.
That's the macro.
That's good.
That's
take.
good.
He had a good one.
Good
Thanks.
start.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you held
Hey, see you guys later.
Good start.
That's the best. That's the best I'm going to do all day.
Let's do this.
So I checked the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater.
Yeah, why not?
Let's jump into the analytics portion.
This is kind of like we normally call this spreads on stats.
5, 4, 2.
Actually, we're going to call this nuggets.
Brad's Bits.
Brad's Bits. Brad's Bits. That's what we're going to do. Brought to us by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers, complete public service accounting, consulting, serving clients throughout West Virginia and surrounding states. Getting ready for their 40th anniversary, which means they've stood the test of time. They've amateurized themselves nicely. Outsourcing accounting, they can do that for you. If you don't have a bookkeeper in-house, they can outsource your accounting. You can also outsource your CFO services. Frees up your time so you can do your thing, run your business instead of worrying about the numbers. Let Conley worry about the numbers because why? Because they provide value beyond numbers. Okay, Brad's Bites.
I'm anxious for that. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Well, a couple different things here.
You in midseason form, or is this your opener too?
No, just opener, because what I always tell you about these numbers, the numbers get better as we get later into the season and we get some data. The numbers I'm going to give you right now, if I'm being honest, I don't know if they matter at all. It's about last year's teams. I don't know if these matter at all. They're fun, something to think about, but this isn't reflective of this year's team.
Right.
So that's why I think this is at the same time one of the really tricky parts if you're into prognostication or you wager. This is what's really hard.
Right.
You don't know. Nobody knows.
No, you don't
Neil and James Franklin don't know.
No.
If we're being honest. But I think that's what also makes it fun.
Yes.
Right? All the potential hypotheticals, all the different things that go into it. How much better is West Virginia? Is the offensive line as good? Is Garrett Green that much better? Are the receivers that much better? How about Penn State? Guys, they lost. Are there two defensive ends as good as advertised? There's just so many questions that you go into. So take these with a grain of salt because, again, it's last year's stuff, and we'll try and make some sense of does it factor into this game.
So what you're saying is, to underscore your point, Florida State, Georgia Tech last week was a perfect example of you don't know.
And, yeah, and it's interesting because you watch that pregame, and there were 19 different reports, including a special breaking news. I don't know if they played the music or just came breaking news for telling us that Florida State's defensive line was the best in the country.
Who reported that?
I don't know, one of the ESPN guys. Best defensive line in the country. Had to break into game day and talk about that. Okay? I don't know if you watched the game. And maybe they end up being the best defensive line in the country. They were not in Ireland. Georgia Tech lined up and said, oh, is that right? Oh, is that right? I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to run right at you. And I find, and this isn't a prediction that West Virginia is going to have the same success against Penn State that Georgia Tech did against Florida State.
Right.
But I think if you're a West Virginia fan, you look at that and go, oh, that's interesting, because this is a really talented Penn State front. Not just those two stud defensive ends that are going to get after. They've got multiple guys in the interior that create what I think is the biggest matchup of the game. West Virginia's new, air quotes, offensive line against that great Penn State defense. Does Penn State stalemate that, or can West Virginia run it when it wants to run it inside? There's where the game is right there. And if you can't run it inside, then you start to bounce out. Can you do some of that? All right, we're going to look at that. But what Georgia Tech did to that Florida State defensive line, they moved them, not just did a bunch of motion and shifts, which, what's West Virginia like to do with this group? Some motion and shifts, right? So it wasn't an exact blueprint on how to attack that, but it was a good example of a team that had a veteran quarterback that likes to run the football, that had a good offensive line, that was maybe being underrated a little bit, going against what was thought of a tremendous defensive line, and had success. Would those things be nice to see happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe they don't.
Yes.
Maybe you got no chance. Maybe Penn State's defense is the best defensive line in the country, not Florida State's, and you struggle. But that's one of the fun things to watch, and I think that showed itself Saturday for a team in Florida State that had already penciled itself into the playoff. Now has a lot of work to do. Go ahead.
So do you think, and again, you don't know, but has the West Virginia offensive line, all due respect to those guys, taken a step back?
How do you know? You lost one of the best offensive linemen to ever play here.
Right.
That is hard to be as good as you were. But as we have said, and oh, by the way, don't forget about Doug Nestor.
Right.
Who's also was in an NFL camp. But you're replacing it with a bunch of experienced guys. Okay, that's part one. How do they perform in this situation? Last year, they played extremely well. But Brandon Yates is moving over to a whole new position. And we kind of just haven't talked much about that, right? How's he do in a new position with a lot more responsibility? Then the young guys that you talk to the staff, and they tell you they think they might have a couple pros on these young offensive linemen. Does that show itself now, meaning this season? Does it show itself now, meaning game one? And if it does, and that allows you to give some breaks to a Jaquay Hubbard and a Nick Malone, or a Remack if he needs it, and you can put those young guys in and have success, okay, that starts to answer. You don't, bottom line is you don't know the answer to that question, if they've come back or not.
But boy, what a test early, Tony, going against those two defensive ends, those two ends for Penn State.
No question. And you just hope that being on your home turf helps alleviate that some. And by that, I mean, yes, I do know that the game is always about blocking and tackling, but that home crowd just gives you a bounce and some energy. I wouldn't like to go play this game at their place. I would never like to go play at their place. We know what that situation is. Right? They got a wonderful crowd there. You just hope that it can work for you this week to take you and your guys that may be questionable as far as being able to do this, take them to that next level.
Well, and then the other questions, and we've talked about these. Garrett Green's a different quarterback than he was in what I know he'd started games, but last year was his first game as the starter. He is not the same guy. Jaheim White, that kind of helped the offense a little bit, didn't it? With him,
a little bit.
Your receivers. Now you're going against some pros in their defensive backfield. What's that look like now with guys that have been through it for a year? Because think about that, right? Clement, Traylon Ray. We weren't talking about Hudson Clement last year. Traylon Ray had been here. Came in from Florida about 15 minutes before the first game.
That was
give or take.
The day before the first game.
Okay, yeah. Rodney Gallagher Gallagher didn't even play, did he? Didn't catch pass.
Very little.
Yeah, very little. So you just had so many young guys at the receiver position. You think that looks a little bit different. But Hop, what you don't know, I'm comfortable saying they've taken a step forward. But how much of a step forward? You don't know all that. It's a lot of questions. I think that's what makes this time of the year really fun.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a big rambling open too. You want to get to some couple factors that
Sure.
really these are things that we haven't necessarily talked about, but we probably should, backed up with some numbers from last year. So let's dive in. Field position. Huge factor, and we don't talk about it nearly enough. A lot of times in post game we will and go back into it with that plus 10 yards field position advantage. If you have that, you generally win 90+% of the time. Couple numbers that jump to me. A lot of people criticize this Penn State offense last year, but you know what you better not do, Hoppy, with them?
What's that?
You better not give them a short field too often or they'll punish you, as a lot of teams will. But Penn State was 5th nationally in points per drive from short field position last year. That's 60 yards from the end zone or less when they'd take over the ball. So they were super efficient. If you didn't pin them back, they would score points on you.
So if they start from the 40, from
their
their
40 or in,
they've got a super high rate to score.
They were really good, 5th nationally. For an offense that was much maligned for being pretty good, and it was good against West Virginia.
So building on that, so West Virginia needs to get a couple first downs.
Sure.
Right. Not start on their 25 and get to the 28.
And let Ollie Straw try and go and work and some pin them and force them into some long drives here. Now, this was surprising. West Virginia was not good with short field position offensively. Just 103rd nationally in scoring per drive on drives that started less than 6 yards from the end zone.
So let's expand on that. What's the biggest thing that Neil has been harping on this offseason?
Touchdowns in the red zone.
Touchdowns in the red zone. I mean, I think, Brad, if you dig a little bit, we probably were one of the higher teams in the country in getting field goals, which isn't necessarily what you want.
Yeah,
you need to get the 7 instead of the 3s, and so they have worked tirelessly, as we've seen, from the 20 and in to score touchdowns.
Your touchdown percentage inside the red zone last year for West Virginia was in the 80s nationally.
I believe it.
Right? Out of 130 some teams. So that makes some sense. So that's one of those keys. I know these aren't just traditional, here's your keys to victory, but that's going to be one, right? Can you take advantage and score when you get in the red zone and score touchdowns? Because here's the other companion stat to that on the other side of the ball. Penn State's opponents' drives ended in a touchdown or field goal attempt just 26% of the time. That was 3rd nationally.
Wow.
So you didn't get many scoring opportunities. When you get them, you better score touchdowns.
Exactly.
So
if you're going down there kicking field goals, again,
now that's
all
counting
last
field
year's
goals.
stats.
Read that again. That's counting field goals, what you just said.
Field goal attempts. Yeah, not necessarily even points. Yeah. 26% of Penn State's opponents' drives ended in a touchdown or field goal attempt. That was the 3rd best nationally.
So that means 3 out of 4 times you come up empty on your drive.
Correct.
So watch that stat. Watch that stat Saturday. When you take a look at the end stats, what do you have? 8 to 10 to 11 possessions in a game. Look at that after the game's over and go, did they score on more than 25% of their possessions? That'll be a key.
So you said something key there. 8, 9, 10, 11. How many possessions do you get? Florida State, Georgia Tech, each had 7 possessions. So you talk about having to be ultra efficient if you're going to be down. So something to watch. All right. Now let's keep going kind of along that same theme. West Virginia's offense was top 10 nationally in scoring per drive on long drives when you start inside your own 20. Now, little misleading number because West Virginia didn't do that often. It was one of the better teams in the country with fewest drives started inside its 20. So just take that for what it's worth. Here's one to pay attention to. West Virginia was 23rd nationally in scoring per drive on medium drives that begin from your own 20 to your own 40. So West Virginia was top 25 offense when it did that. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Also, and I'm sure you don't have this one in front of you, uncanny success in 2-minute drive scenarios. Man, they were good.
Really good. Halves or end of game.
Yeah, halves. Yeah, 2-minute scenario. And now we'll literally have a 2-minute clock starting this weekend. But yeah, very, very successful. Garrett's have been really, really good at running those.
Yeah. Okay, here's one other offensive category, and I guess it counts defense too. Let's look at this. The ability to make and or stop big plays. So as we headed into last year, it's interesting to watch how this game is set up. Heading into last season, that was a big Neil Brown talking point. Said the offense had to get more explosive, find a way to get big plays, get some, air quote, easy touchdowns where you rip off a 45-yard run and you score on 2 plays in the drive. Penn State's doing that this year, aren't they? Isn't that the criticism of the Penn State offense? As efficient as they were at times, that was the criticism, right? You start to look at Drew Aller's attempt per throw. It was down there. You start to look at their ability to hit you for big plays. Didn't have many. Let's go through some numbers. West Virginia last season was 17th nationally in offensive drives that average 7 yards per play or better.
Say it again.
17th nationally. So a top 20 offense on drives where the drive averaged 7 yards per play or more.
What was Penn State? Do you know?
Hold on, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Don't rush me, Kirchhoff. Just
all right. I'm just
hang tight.
All right.
He's got to take off. He's got to drive this
no,
afternoon.
I'm fine.
So that showed the big playability, and we talked about that a lot, right?
Yeah.
And that makes sense with White and Clement's big play and Traylon Ray over the top and Garrett Green taking off. So that makes some sense. You were very good big playing teams. 55th in offensive drives of 10 yards per play or more. So not bad. Still in the upper half of college football. Penn State, conversely, is that what you asked there, Hoppy?
That's what
was
I
Penn
asked,
State?
yes, sir.
Thank you. I just happened to have that.
Okay.
Last year, Penn State was just 63rd nationally in offensive drives that averaged 7 yards per play or better, and 106th nationally in offensive drives that averaged 10 yards or more. So, right, they need more explosive plays. That part of the game fascinates me, and we keep talking about this. Will Penn State try and just take, it's got 2 great running backs, guys. Try and run behind those 2 backs. Will they let Drew Aller, who had tremendous success throwing the football last year against West Virginia? Do you just kind of do base, or do you try and mix it up and show some of your new stuff?
Hey, Brad, on that stat, on a profile of Penn State, this was in the New York Times, in the game against Michigan, a 9-yard rush up the gut from running back Katron Allen in November in the loss to Michigan stands out. That run should have been a spark.
Hold on. You want me to guess what the next play was after that 9-yard rush?
Go ahead.
They threw a swing pass probably to a reserve receiver that didn't go well.
Penn State followed with a negative play, a bubble screen to a reserve wide receiver that lost a yard. The fans groaned. Those are plays that's what Penn State complains about. And that's why Kodalecki is there. It's supposed to change that, right?
Correct. Now, let's look at this particular matchup from last year, because this shows you why Penn State controlled that game from mid-third quarter on and ultimately won the game. Penn State averaged 7.4 yards per play last year against West Virginia. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's almost 2 full yards better than its season average against all other teams. Almost 2 yards per play. 7.4 is fine. You can absolutely work with 7.4. So they did that against West Virginia. They had that 74-yard touchdown pass. They had another 25-yard touchdown pass. So they hit some big plays against West Virginia. West Virginia's got to shut that off this year, obviously. Right. Conversely, West Virginia was the opposite in this game last year. It averaged 5.6 yards per play against Penn State. In all other games, nearly 7 yards per play. So those two, what Penn State folks thought of their offense was flip-flop from West Virginia to the rest of the games. West Virginia's offense was flip-flop. Didn't have the success against that great Penn State defense. Against everybody else, it got cooking, which we saw. So watch that this year. I can't wait to watch what the Penn State offense does differently, if anything, how West Virginia's defense stacks up against those great running backs and Drew Aller, and then on West Virginia's side, does the offense for West Virginia look more like it did at the end of the season or more like it was in the beginning when it was still trying to figure things out? Something to watch.
Those are great stats.
Well, we call them bits.
I'm sorry, great bits.
Brad's bits.
Brad's bits.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
You did very nice.
I mean, I got more. We'll say more. We got another show this week.
Yeah. We'll be, so you'll do keys to the game coming up?
Got more. Maybe.
Yeah. Spreads on Stats. The Tuesday edition brought to us by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. So you'll do keys to the game on Thursday?
I usually I do less keys and more matchups or things to watch.
Okay.
And that's what part of that was. That's a couple things to watch. Watch the field position battle. Watch what's happening in terms of big plays. Watch what's happening in terms of red zone efficiency. Can you score touchdowns if you're West Virginia?
Yeah. If you're a business owner, you need to watch and make sure that your employees can communicate with one another. If you've got phone issues, it may be time. If you've been holding back, technology is absolutely amazing when it comes to business phone systems, and Comax is there to help you. From one digital line to 1,000 lines, they can make your phone system absolutely elite. And we do like to talk about elite here. Guess what? Your voicemail will actually work. And if your employees are off property, out in the field, they can immediately be communicated to, and you will have them, and that in turn helps your business. They'll give you a free price quote. You can buy them, you can lease them, you can rent them, however you want to do your phone system. It is ComaxWV.com. That's ComaxWV.com. Penn State will not fly into this game.
No, they probably shouldn't.
Yeah. Taking pontoons in. Starting off near State College, going to come down. Well, so I don't know how they're doing. They're going to get down to the Yak. They're going to come through the Youghiogheny. They're going to come down through there, and then I don't know if they have to pick the boats up and get back on the water in West Virginia, whatever way it's going to work. But those boats that Penn State will come in on are provided by Lou Wendell Marine Sales, located in St. Albans. They've been in business, nearly half a century now, and family-owned. Check this out. They sell the premier pontoon boat in America. That's the Avalon boats, and they are made right here in the US of A in Michigan. And don't forget, hunters, fishers, and people that just want to do some other stuff where the pontoon doesn't work for you. How about the Gator Tough John series? Those are awesome. Durability, value, and dependability, the key elements needed for avid outdoors folks. G3 Johns provide an array of all welded models for hunting to fishing, everything in between. Check them out at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We're trying to get confirmation as to whether or not Penn State is taking boats in.
They're not.
We'll probably know by Thursday.
Maybe.
Probably know that on Thursday. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, real quick, shout out to bcftoys.com for
who?
The database. BCF Toys. It's not a toy company. It's a stat company.
BCF Toys.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They did a nice job with this.
Good deal. Textual healing coming up in just a couple of seconds here. Yeah, go ahead.
I need to do a shout-out, too. To last show, we were talking about what kids have, like stuffed toys and blankets and binkies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I mentioned Matt Moeller had that little teeny blanket.
Yeah.
And I got a text from him, regular listener. He's from Morgantown, played at Morgantown High, played at Lehigh, Brad, defensive end at Lehigh.
I remember that.
Went on, did some coaching, and now is at Iona Prep in New York and teaching social studies there. And I got a kind of a semi-angry text saying, I had a 20-year football career, and you talked about my banking. So I promised Matt I would mention that he was a standout football player at Morgantown. Tony, you said you remember him. And also he played college football at Lafayette, and he's a big Three Guys listener.
Well, thank you, Matt. I don't know.
But if Matt's a regular listener, then he should realize that's exactly what we would talk about. That's exactly how this show goes.
Yeah, I think he did get that. He was disappointed there was not any football mention.
I don't know why you had to. I don't know why you had to besmirch his character. Fine, young, upstanding guy. Yeah. All right, here we go. In my hand, folks. This is something that you need to get a hold of. Our good friends at Tudor's Biscuits have this promotional special going on right now. You buy this tremendous steel camo mug. It's a travel mug, and you can enjoy for the rest of your perpetuity refills. So here's how it works. You buy this. It holds 24 ounces, and you got 4 hours of hot and 12 hours of cold.
How do it know?
Exactly. How do it know what to be hot and what to be cold? But every time you go into a Tudor's, you can refill this for the price of a small coffee or an iced tea. That's how much it costs. Every time you go in, you just go like, I want it filled, and I get to pay the price of a small coffee. That's a deal.
It is.
Check it out. Tudor's Biscuits, stainless steel camo. And this weekend, I would imagine a lot of people on their way up are going to check out the South's best biscuit. It was voted on upon 32 different brands in the competition, and Tudor's won it. The Tudor's Mountaineer. Crush a couple of those on Saturday, and you will feel absolutely delightful.
When you're driving up, getting refueled while going 70 miles an hour.
I don't think you can do that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you can either.
Unsafe.
All right, so here's
wildly unsafe.
All right, so here's
the
deal.
filling up, not the eating of the biscuits.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, eating the biscuit's fine.
All right, this is everything y'all need to know for the food court. It does open on Wednesday, August 28th, from 4 until 10, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, according to here, it's 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. But if you get there around 8, that'll be close enough.
Ish.
Ish, it says. So what is going to be there? What is going to be there is the question. Every day during the food court, we will have Rev Kev's barbecue. And last year that was a barbecue brisket.
Oh.
A breakfast brisket that they made. And you know what they told me today when I was over there? They've got a Saturday special this week.
What is it?
Brisket biscuit.
Really?
Oh.
Brisket biscuit. So that's from last year. Go ahead, if you would, Zach, flow through some of those photos there. So this is coming up. So that is the folks from the wine bar. That is a meatball trio provided by the folks at the wine bar. And that food is the trio of meatballs with fresh bread and Duca's famous cracklins dusted with barbecue and honey, a crowd favorite.
Those are outstanding.
And also, come here, Travis.
Those are outstanding.
Come here, Travis. So here,
see that cheese right on top of those
Zach,
meatballs?
Zach, cut to the camera right here. Here, can we get him in frame? Wait,
Here's Travis Jones.
This is Travis Jones. He's bringing down from the fridge upstairs. He's bringing the beer. He's the voice of the Indians, the voice of the Fairmont State Falcons, and on his prediction show this week, he picked 10 wins for the Mountaineers.
And a win over Penn State.
Thank you, TJ. We appreciate it.
Parkersburg Brewing.
Yes, it is Parkersburg.
Yeah, very good.
He's a Parkersburg native.
Parkersburg guy.
Yeah, one of the all-time greatest athletes at Parkersburg Catholic, but never really got the attention he deserved.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Trav.
So
thanks, T-Bone.
So here it is. It's here.
Yeah, so here
it
is. So
long awaited.
All right, and these babies are cold. So this is our second beer. And if, Zach, you got any pictures of the cans and that kind of stuff, it might be easier to show it that way. But this can also, I don't know if you want to drink the beer because the can's so dark. Look at that. Look at that. Look how pretty that is.
That is great.
That was designed by a WVU student named Chloe. I haven't had the chance to meet her. You ever meet her? Haven't met her yet?
No.
So we got great folks, WVU students that help us. So great design. This new beer is called Connection 304. If you're a regular listener, you know that we often talks about the unbelievable connections in the state of West Virginia. This beer is going to be available this week at the food court, and it's going to be eventually distributed in each of the 55 counties of the great state of West Virginia. And, Senator, I believe we're making it into some Go-Marts as well.
Efforting.
Yeah, we're efforting to get it in some Go-Marts.
More on that on Friday's show.
Yes.
Before you're coming up.
So
hold that up again. Because that can is outstanding.
It's gorgeous.
Like, the beer's going to be great. I had a preview taste of this over the weekend. You guys are going to like the beer. You're all going to love the beer. That's the whole point of this. This can is nice. I think you could take that can, Hoppy, put it right up on your shelf as a collector's item.
It's
I
love the design.
Connection 304.
Yeah, I
always
like that a lot.
West Virginia connection.
Yes.
So we'll have it available.
Perfect.
We'll have it available as a draft at the food court. Okay, and then obviously it's also being produced in cans. The folks at Parkersburg.
There will be some cans there at the food court too
you
that
can
you can buy and take to your tailgate.
So here we go, Zach. If you could, I'm going to start just gently pouring this. Hoppy and I are going to share one.
Brad's not going to have any.
He already had last Saturday. Here, pass that down.
That's for Hoppy.
Hey, Hoppy, send your glass. Send your glass back down here.
First taste.
Wait, and Zach,
final
if you
product.
would cut down. Wait, Hop, don't drink it yet. Yeah, okay.
I'm just smelling it.
All right, just because.
How's the nose?
Excellent.
Yeah,
I like it.
we've tested 2 different versions of this. We have not tasted the final version yet. All right. Okay. If you would, go to Hoppy here, please, Zach. He's got his nose in
Go
it.
to me first on beer.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and do it. It's nice.
Looks good. Good color.
I think it's awesome.
Excuse me?
I think it's awesome because it's there more than Kirchvale. The citrus is not there now. Okay. And there's more of a boldness to it, which I like. More of a what do you call it?
It's an Appalachian lager.
More of a lager
Yeah.
taste to it.
Right.
Good finish, great finish. Just a hint of bitter, not overly bitter. Just a hint. That's a strong beer right there. I like that a lot.
But
Yeah.
easy. It's easy.
Yes, it's still drinkable.
Yeah, very
Yes.
easy.
It's not going to, I mean, if you like, it's not one of those beers that's going to turn you off because it's so different, but it's different enough. Yeah, it's nice.
That is exactly what we were trying to accomplish. We always want these things to be
Pass the
extremely
six-pack down here.
drinkable. Here's a little bit on it. This beer features a harmonious blend of American and European malts, expertly paired with a generous helping of Cascade, Citra, and Mosaic hops, creating a crisp, crushable brew. Gentle hints of citrus and tropical fruits, complemented by a whisper of earthy undertones. It is a responsible 5.0 alcohol content. All right? We're going to get it into retail as soon as possible. It will be at the food court, and we are efforting to have it at the Go-Mart in Flatwoods and various other Go-Mart facilities. So shout out to everyone involved in this project. And I'm going to take my first sip.
Okay.
And you say
See
you
what
called
you
it
think.
awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's fantastic.
You're in.
Very good beer.
Mm-hmm.
Very good beer.
I like it.
Yeah.
Tasty. I'm a huge, whenever I drink anything, I always have it with food.
Okay.
I'm not someone that just can sit back and just like, I'm going to drink like 7 beers. I don't do that. I always have it with food.
Okay.
So when I drink that, and I'm thinking, immediately it comes into my head.
Rev Kev.
Like barbecue,
Yeah.
meatballs, like savory stuff. You drink it with that, and it's like a perfect pairing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So you come get that little to-go box there that Rev Kev
barbecue
has,
in a box.
or those meatballs that Duca from the wine bar is putting out there. Have yourself a Connection 304. That's a good start to game day.
Unlike you, without food, I might sit on my deck and have a couple of these.
Well, that's fine. You can do that.
I like them.
You like it?
Do you
Good.
like it, Brad?
It's good. I did, yeah.
And you're not a big beer drinker, right?
Yeah, it was very easy. That's what I keep saying. Easy to drink.
Easy, but distinctive.
Mm-hmm. Very distinctive.
Yeah.
I think they did a neat job. And the can, I just can't get over the cans. I think that's an awesome look.
Drinking beer on a Tuesday at the. I feel like Pat McAfee here.
Pat would never do that.
All right, good. Well, we're excited for everybody to try
Yes.
some beginning this week.
Yeah. Check it out.
They're out.
Let us know. What do you say we do this thing now?
I'll have to go to the bathroom here shortly.
I figured as much. Textual healing.
By the way, did you say the Brownie House is going to be there too? There's desserts.
I'm going to.
Brownie House from
That's in Beechhurst Avenue in
the
Seneca Center. Yeah.
Oh, that place is awesome. That place is great.
Oh, yeah.
I've been there.
They're going to have treats there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they'll have treats. Textual Healing is brought to us by episode800.com. Check it out. And all of our gear, our coffee. No beer. Can't do the beer on the internets, but everything else often that you see us wear or we drink as far as the coffee goes. So Mountaineer Roasting is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, the folks from the Brownie House, they're going to have Brownie Bite tailgate trays, perfect for tailgates. They'll sell up to 16 to 48 bites per tray, easy to transport. They'll also offer individually wrapped brownies, brownie edges, cookies, plus game day grind from Mountaineer Roasting with available to purchase by the bag all week, but also hot to go boxes on Saturday. Take back. Oh, he's doing boxes of coffee. You can bring them your tailgate.
Right. So both of those, like that. So that's what we're trying to do here. That you can grab a 6-pack of beer to go. You can grab Rev Kev's pans. We talk about the pans. You can pre-order the pans. They all gone.
Yeah. Well, here's what happened with the pans.
Uh-oh.
I told you on Monday's show, you could get a pan for a tailgate. 8 pounds of brisket sliced, 2 pounds of chicken, 2 pounds of pork, and we had 50 gone.
They're already gone.
Sold out.
Already
Yeah.
gone.
Okay.
Jeez.
Now, they're
Get ready
gonna-
for next week.
Albany. You can pre-order. If you're coming to the Albany game, if you're coming to any game this year, you can pre-order, pick them up on Fridays or Saturdays, but the 50 for this week. So when you go this week, you could buy pulled pork, you can buy chicken, you can buy brisket, but you can't get the
Right.
pan.
But you can walk up and buy that
You
stuff
buy whatever
right
you
there.
want. You get
take it with you. You can buy a 6-pack of beer. You can take it. You can take the brownie bite trays. You can take the coffee. So all of it.
Just
If
come
you want to
see-
stop by, we'd love to see you, say hi. But if you can't, just stop by, grab your stuff, head right over to the tailgate.
Just come
or
s-
just get some stuff and stay right there.
Just stay there, or come see
Hang out.
come see the food truck. I mean, that they should give tours.
It's
of
like a
that.
circus ride, yeah. Also, shout out to Smooth Ambler. They gave us bourbon barrels that we're going to use as tables.
Oh.
You just think on the table.
Boy,
Now, we will be in and out Wednesday through probably Friday. I don't know that we can get over there Saturday morning.
Saturday may be a little busy with an early start.
But we'll be in and out periodically, the three of us.
Correct. Textual healing now. 3 guys, 2 questions. Is this upcoming Penn State game one of the top 3 at home since the stadium opened in 1980?
I gotta think.
So number
Covers a
one,
lot of
Ohio
territory.
State's way up there.
Probably a Virginia Tech game is up there somewhere. Boston College game.
I say no. Maybe top 10, but not top 3.
You don't think?
Mm-mm.
Hasn't happened
Pitt
for so
games.
long.
Mm-mm. I mean, I'm talking about games of great significance.
If West Virginia wins, it's going to rank up there.
It'll go as an all-time win.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
I
is
don't
this
know,
one of the
season opening top 10 opponent that hasn't been here in 30 years? That's pretty significant. That's a
Well,
pretty significant opponent.
I guess you would also have to define what do you mean by top 3? Like, are we in season and we're playing for a Big East championship and you got to win a game? You got to beat Miami in 90. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
You
that was a
follow
good
me?
question. It's open to interpretation.
Yeah. I'd say off the top of my head, initially, I'd say no. I think they were bigger.
Well, you got two Penn State. You got 2 other Penn State games.
Yeah. Top 3.
That-
Top 3 season opener.
Oh, season opener.
No, he didn't. I'm just saying.
He didn't say-
I'll give you top 3 season opener, but I'm not going to give you top 3 all time. Texter, does Penn State score at least 20 points?
Yes.
I'd be stunned if they don't.
I hope they don't, but I think
Yeah.
I think they will.
Texter, 3 guys, Seth in Florida. I noticed West Virginia, the only Big 12 team facing a ranked opponent out of conference this year, and is only the only Big 12 team that will play 2 Power 4 opponents out of conference. What a challenge. Let's go.
There's a lot of services that have this West Virginia schedule overall as a top 10 national strength of schedule.
Dean lives in Parsons, but he's originally Dean from Parsons, but now he's in Fairmont. On the topic of body clock, I often hear, including on this very show, how the understanding of the science of the body has changed, the way players prepare themselves mentally and physically, including diet, sleep, etc. Have teams and coaching staffs cracked the code on best practices to prepare their body clocks for the increasingly common cross-country conference games? If so, what kinds of things do teams and players do in preparation for these trips? They're cognizant of it. They do various things. I don't think there's any, great super surprise secret. I personally think if you make too much of it, it just gets in your head.
Yeah.
Just go play. No, seriously. I just think too much is made out of it. I mean, you know how many people go to work every single day, hours and hours and hours and hours. I mean, we're talking about getting on an airplane, man, and flying. Like, I don't care if it was 6 hours. It's not 6 hours. It's 3.5 hours. So what?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, I think if you were doing it on a regular basis, or you were going 3 hours away or something, but or you were traveling, or you're playing the game in Ireland. I mean, then
Sure.
There's a body clock issue, but otherwise.
3 guys, this is a special week for many reasons, but one I'm most excited for is that we get to officially baptize a new family into Mountaineer Nation. When my family flies to Morgantown from Houston on Thursday, we'll be joined by my good friend Gary, his wife Tina, and their 2 kids. This Portsmouth, England native moved to Houston several years ago, and when we met, Gary told me he was interested in becoming a college football fan and finding a team to cheer for. Fast forward 5 years, he's an avid 3 Guys listener, and he's attended 1 road game but hasn't yet experienced the beauty and splendor of Milan Puskar Stadium. Direct your attention to the monitor. As 2 of the great orators of our state and Brad can You give him a short preview of what to expect in Morgantown. Sincerely, Scott in the Woodlands. Yeah, look at that's funny. College, first day. So, Gary, so he's from England. I would say probably something analogous to a great Premier League soccer match where people are jacked up and excited and it's just a good vibe and a good feel. If you could, send us a note. Tell us how that does go once he experienced that. Texter says, I've got an over-under. Last year, West Virginia and Penn State combined for 494 total pass yards. Over-under, 500 total passing yards this Saturday.
Probably under.
Senator?
Under.
Texter says, I was in DeKalb, Illinois last month visiting Northern Illinois University where I graduated.
Huskies.
Met someone from Niger. He noticed my WVU shirt. He knew Morgantown. He knew Pat White. He knew Tavon Austin as a sports broadcast major. He's now in law school where his project in the lawsuit of Sean Alston versus the NCAA. Signed by Bob from Charlestown. You ever been there?
Where?
Charlestown, West Virginia.
Never heard of it.
Texter, Tony, the Senator Dean of Broadcasters, a friend of mine, played against West Virginia for Penn State in the 80s. He called it the toughest place to play. From the incoming projectiles at their bus getting to the stadium to their walkthrough at the stadium, they were under constant bombardment.
That's wrong, by the way.
What's that?
I mean, throwing stuff at the team.
It's not proper etiquette.
Not at all.
He said having a football helmet on getting hit with an empty pint of whiskey bottle drops you to your knees. See, I always find that to be BS. I find that
probably
to be
overblown.
I
think that's
show me one time a guy got hit in the head with a whiskey bottle in a helmet and he went to his knees. It's just urban legend. Anyway, he was on a team that lost to West Virginia, and someone in Morgantown has the greatest piece of sports memorabilia, Joe Paterno's glasses. After a Penn State loss, someone took Joe's glasses. Joe, being blind, put his hands on my friend's back and said, "Get me to the locker room. Keep us laughing. Go Mountaineers." That could have happened.
Really?
He may have lost his glasses. Three guys. This is AJ from South Park. Is James Franklin the most unlikable coach in college football? His haughty attitude led him on a 5-minute rant after a Penn State reporter apparently coughed during his press conference yesterday. Be sure to mask up and wash your hands before interviewing him this week. Didn't know about that.
I didn't either.
Nate from Morgantown writes, I'm currently having in Manitou Springs, Colorado, after a day of exploring Pikes Peak. As I turn around to order my food, a man comes walking across in a West Virginia hat and shirt. Naturally, I greet him with a call of our people. Let's go Mountaineers. We begin to chat. Turns out he's from Martinsburg, meeting his son who lives in California halfway in for a family vacation. Even in reclaimed Big 12 territory, there's always a West Virginia connection. Cannot wait to be tailgating at 7 a.m. next weekend, pairing biscuits and gravy with bourbon. Let's go.
And maybe a Connection 304 beer to honor the connection that was just made right there, Hopsy.
Absolutely, yes.
Perfect time to...
It's a good conversation piece,
right?
right?
Connection 304. There's always a West Virginia connection, as illustrated by his text.
Yes.
Thank you.
The Memphis Botanic Garden hosts 5 outdoor concerts live at the Garden each year. Last night, country singer Sam Hunt, in the middle of a set, breaks out singing Country Roads. You guys are right. There's something comforting about that song that seems universal, and interestingly, they never changed the words West Virginia to something else. I loved it. I also enjoy your show. Now let's beat the hell out of Penn State, signed by Charleston Blair of Memphis. Texter, my ears perked last episode at the Jumping Branch mention, as my wife is from there, and even in West Virginia, it isn't one you hear about often. While you may miss the
Metropolis.
Yeah, that's the word. While you may miss the metropolis that is Jumping Branch while driving along Route 3 between Glade Springs and Hinton for the annual Train Days Festival, the mention of it did bring up one of my favorite West Virginia Connection stories.
Absolutely.
While my wife and I were still living in D.C., we were leaving a Nationals-Pirates game, and the simple mention of Jumping Branch in the sea of the 30 to 40,000 fans exiting caught the attention of a passerby who shouted back, Did someone say Jumping Branch, West Virginia? It turned out to be another Jumpin' Branchian who knew both my wife's family and my family in Morgantown.
Of course he did.
There is always a West Virginia connection, no matter how small. Looking forward to the barbecue. Stephen Saab in Morgantown.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Remember his brother?
Yeah, did
He
some
wrote
songs for us.
did some song- he-
Then goes to this.
So, like, he's kind
He
of
doesn't like us anymore?
No, I don't know about.
Disappeared.
He's a classic musician because those musicians always break up, don't they?
I know, but it was just him.
Did he break up with us?
You mean he broke up with us? Is that what you're saying?
I think he broke up with himself. Like he maybe have had creative differences with himself, so he doesn't produce music.
I don't
anymore.
know.
Maybe it was us.
Well, I mean, like you said, musicians. I mean, Oasis is just getting back together after 15 years apart, so maybe we'll hear back from him.
I'm going to read this text because it was like I almost deleted it, but I'll read it. You ever hear a song that you can't remember the name of or who sings it and it drives you crazy? Well, what if we played some obscure songs on the speaker during Mountaineer games? Let our players know what the song is, and the opposing team would play bad because they won't be focused on the game, and we would have an internal conflict going on in their minds trying to remember the song. This is next-level mental warfare that can take us to the next level. And then he said, I'm not drunk.
Interesting strategery, though. I like that.
Well done for the last line, though, just to clarify that.
Yeah.
You
That was-
may not be drunk, but you do need help. I'd say that. Hey, guys, just got out of the mountains after an 8-day, 75-mile hike to summit Mount Whitney.
Oh, my.
Looking forward to catching up on the show. I wore my Hope hat
Oh, very nice.
for the entire hike. Here it is at 14,505 feet.
Jeez.
Well done.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
That's in California.
yeah,
That's a
terrific.
That's a hike now.
That is a hike.
Yeah.
Good picture.
It's the highest mountain in the contiguous United States,
Really?
according to Wikipedia.
Texter, salutations, trio of rapscallions prior to the Donnybrook. Which of these things is more likely to happen in the next 20 years? West Virginia wins the national championship in football, or a West Virginian is elected president of our United States?
Natty.
Yeah, neither.
Natty.
Oh, you're saying national championship?
Yeah. Which is more likely? Give us a more likely.
So it could be just 1% more likely.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Today I'm announcing my candidacy for presidency of the United States. Yeah,
You're going to run on the Connection 304 platform.
Be a good one.
it would be.
Bring people together.
I mean,
Not divide. You'd bring people together rather than divide.
Well, the fact that we have West Virginians everywhere, there's votes there, right?
Yeah, you can get some votes.
More votes out there than are in here.
Roger in Maine, haven't heard from him in a long time. Roger in Maine
Where's he
used to
been?
text a lot. I don't know where he's been. But his text is just a 5-word text. New segment, spreads on hats, referring to that hat.
Got a lot of inquiries about the hat.
That was really nice.
Yeah. More on that coming soon.
Yeah.
What hat? Oh, the cap you wore.
Yeah, three guys hat.
It's a very nice hat.
More coming soon, Hoppy. on
Oh,
that
really?
effort.
You got more hats?
More info coming soon.
At 800? Okay.
Texter says, hello. Speaking of Kit Kats, have you guys tried the Big Kit Kat bar? If you think the normal Kit Kats are good, give one of these dogs a try. Keep up the good content. I love listening to you guys. Well, if you go to Go-Mart this weekend, get fuel, food, whatever it might be, unconfirmed, they now have a 13-pound Kit Kat.
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. That is unconfirmed, so not sure. But this is confirmed. You can get 50 cents off if you have the app on Kit Kats.
I can see that, and I'll raise you this. Have a Kit Kat, earn a token with every purchase at Go-Mart. Collect tokens for your chance to win 5,000 bonus reward points. Only the top 25 token earners will win, so grab your favorite Kit Kat flavor, start collecting, get started now because the offer ends Saturday.
It's a good deal, too.
What's that?
Well, I was just thinking Big Candy's going to get involved here, and that Halloween candy's going to be pushed out soon. It's only August, but that push is coming.
No,
Those big,
Halloween's
giant
here.
Halloween bags, they're going to start showing up.
Big Candy is one of the great lines. That is one of the great lines.
Have you seen the Halloween stuff is already out?
Someone told me that.
I mean, you go to Lowe's, you go to Michael's.
I tell you when I went
I'm
there.
going to tell you what I'll do. I went out to Michael's, saw that Halloween.
I went to Glenmark Center, got me 500 pounds of Reese cups at Michael's, 2 framed pictures. Went over to Heavenly.
Three wicker baskets.
Went to Heavenly Ham, got a Reese's Pieces as big as a manhole cover.
And 7 hams, 2 quarts of potato salad.
Oh, wee.
I'm sorry I expressed such shock that Halloween stuff was out, but it is. It has been out for some time.
Went over to that Amish furniture store. Had a Snickers bar made into an Adirondack chair.
Buy Lowe's, got a box of nails and screws. 3 plants. That's on you. You did it.
I'm sorry.
You did it.
Got a flat of petunias.
I just was.
Oh, dear. All right.
6 pieces of untreated lumber.
Oh.
2 chandeliers. Okay, get going.
Home security camera.
And 4 gallons of paint.
Oh. 3 screen doors. Gentleman was nice, brought him right out to my truck. Texter, Josh from Audra State Park. I am thankful the Big 12 has advanced their technology enough to list multiple time zones. Keeping body clock for different times will be much easier to be. So they did a good job when they put their release out.
Oh, they did? I didn't see it. They did?
Actually did.
They had the actual zones?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but they did. The first listing was when the game was happening in the city that it was happening.
Okay.
Right? So, like in Morgantown.
I know. That's overly complicated. TV's been doing this for decades. Just list the Eastern time first and go off that.
They only give 2 times.
They're making it harder. Trying to help them with some work.
Texter. Peach pie in the start of the college football season. The peach is a difficult fruit to put in a pie and the perfect metaphor for the start of the college football season. Unripe, it is too firm, lacks the sweetness and the proper peach flavor. Overripe, the peach can be mushy, mealy, or even worse, moldy.
Ooh.
There is a narrow window where the fruit is at its best. Even with the perfect peach, the peach pie is a balance with soupy and goopy. Many times you can't really know what you'll have until you take it out of the oven and let it cool. Perfect or not, the peach pie and the first kickoff are welcome treats at the end of August.
That's good. Good point. Points.
I'm bummed out. I've only gotten 1 good peck of peaches so far this season.
Yeah, you've been complaining about that.
Well, those were.
Now, wait a minute, Tony. I just went on the Big 12 website.
Yeah.
Composite schedule. Saturday, August 31st. Penn State at West Virginia, 11 a.m. Central Time.
On their game release that they emailed out yesterday, they were listed in the.
All times listed for this coming Saturday are in Central Time.
Okay, fine. Forget it. I'm not even going down the road. Texter, do you think where losses come during the season affects the perception of how this season goes? I could see us being 4-4, but finish 8-4.
I think that can happen. Yeah.
By the way,
but that's what we talked about. Those opening 8 games, all due respect to Albany, you feel like you're going to win Albany. The rest of that's going to be a battle.
By the way, New Mexico and Arizona, 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Wyoming and Arizona State, 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Welcome to the Big 12.
Yeah, because that's 10:30 here, isn't it? Texter, ciao, amici. I saw this on my way downtown today. Oh, my goosebumps. Dino and Morgantown. So if you take a close picture there, look at that picture. That was when they were backing in Rev Kev's 32-foot barbecue restaurant trailer into Daniel's parking lot.
Had to block University Avenue.
Shout out to American Homes. They used the folks at American Homes to back that thing in. Took 3 hours.
I was going to ask you because I was over there today. Had my shift at Daniels today.
Sure, yeah.
Very busy over there today. Tons of great new West Virginia stuff, by the way.
No surprise.
So I was doing my shift, folding, did some mannequins today, Hop, as you know, talked to some customers. They were in there too. So I went out and checked it out and looked at it. I was going to ask you who was the driver that got that thing in. They did a heck of a job.
Guy, I talked to Rev Kev. He said the guy was like a surgeon. Took 3 hours. And that's going to be there. It's going to be there. Yeah, it did. Seriously, I'm serious.
3 hours?
When you get there this week
wait
and you take a look and see where it is, you go like, wait a second, how'd they do that?
Because it had to get it's not right now he's backing in, but it had to get turned.
It had to be perpendicular
and then come back towards the building, which it did. They did a nice job with it.
We should get the driver on. Get him. How'd you do?
Just another day in the office. Here's a picture: males in front of Dunkin' Donuts in Saberton, CL in Eastgate in Clarksburg. Take a look. Picture of the peach stand. Do we have the fruit stand picture? If not, it's okay. Anyway, there's some. There it is. Yeah. That's Romney Peaches. And
that's over in Saberton, right on the way.
Saberton,
yeah, I passed that multiple times.
Thank you, CL. Texter says, I've been listening back to old episodes, and I can't wait until you guys are in full football season mode because you guys flip a switch and become informative, lighthearted, and even more hilarious. I personally can't wait to listen.
That's nice.
You turned your mic off, Johnny.
Last 5 minutes, he might change his opinion. But thank you.
Must be first time
listener.
So
this next one is super long. Anyway, let's do it. Hey, Hoppy Scope Spreads, big fan, long-time listener, a bit of a long one here. I'm writing this currently from Lake Como, Italy. My wife and I are on a 2-week honeymoon that has taken us from Venice, Austria, Germany, Munich, Switzerland, and now Lake Como. We'll be heading back to Venice to catch our flight home on Friday, which, if all connections in Atlanta go well, will land us back in Charleston. Ready at 10:30. Yeah, check these out. 10:30 on Friday. After all the amazing places we've got to visit, there's still one destination left, and that's Morgantown this Saturday. My wife thinks I'm crazy for traveling back from Europe, but it's too big of a game, and I need to be in the stands to take sweet revenge of the Nittany Lions. I have been efforting as much as I can over here, shown all my photos in West Virginia gear, including my Cheers Beers Mountaineers shirt that I've worn atop the mountain in the Swiss Alps and over the Eagle's Nest in Germany. Everyone sees the flying WV and says, oh, as if they know what it is, but they just can't remember. And we all have to say, country roads, and every time a smile appears and the humming begins. Hope the boys are fired up this week. Can't begin to explain how big of a game this is for our program. Can't wait to be there Saturday. Jet lagged and all. Let's go Mountaineers. P.S. Have tried my best to find some Courchevel over here, but I guess the Europeans are just a few steps behind. Enjoy some pictures of our effort over here. Charlton in Charleston. There you go.
Nice.
Great pictures.
Yeah.
We also have one last thing, and this is a first on 3 guys before the game, but we have been invited to a wedding.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
A wedding?
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the show and quote different tidbits to my fiance all the time. I'm the one of those 3 of those monsters that is set to be married on a West Virginia home game Saturday. In my defense, my friend who works at West Virginia was not efforting enough to help me pick a non-home game weekend. A few spreads on stats for the wedding. Really need Conley's CPA to sponsor this. 1, engaged on West Virginia Day 2023. Wedding at Cacapen Resort State Park. J.Q. Dickinson Salt will be our favors. Number 4, Mountaineer Popcorn providing the snacks for our welcome bags. 5,
nice.
Base Camp printing our invitations. 6, Big Timber Brewing and Short Story Brewing keep us hydrated. 7, Fine Looking Phil will have me and the fellas looking good. I know you guys will be tied up with the West Virginia-Kansas festivities, but you are cordially invited to attend.
Thank you.
Well,
Thanks for keeping everyone in the loop on things athletics and promoting West Virginia businesses. Let's go Mountaineers. I'm glad he said they got engaged in 23 because that picture that they just showed there was from 98. If you looked at the date. If you looked at the date, it says 10/17/98, October 17, 98.
That's
so have they been dating for 26 years?
They wanted to make sure that they were
what do you think, Brad?
matched up.
Have they been dating for 26 years?
Tremendous catch. Good question. We'll have to get a follow-up. Could just be that sometimes that date goes haywire on those cameras.
On the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't think that
I
was
think
26?
That might be I'd go date issue as the favorite there rather than the dating 20 however many years that's been.
Yeah.
That'd be the dog.
We could be the wedding crashers.
Yeah, I'd like to
Well,
be
we're
the
not crashers. We were invited.
Well, that is true.
I'd
By the
like
way,
to be
that's
the
my
ring bearer.
anniversary. They're getting married on my anniversary.
We can go out and get some, they got the Mountaineer popcorn, then get some Connection 304 as favors as well. Put the big 6-pack right there on the
Absolutely.
table gift.
All right, so by the time we come back on Thursday, the
Do you like
food
yours?
court will be
yeah.
into its second day of operation. Again, it opens Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 4 till about 10, Saturday morning 8-ish till 11:30-ish. Have fun, enjoy yourself, and be safe. I guess I have to hit this button now to make music.
Homeless Dave has been busy.
Oh,
A lot
dude,
going on.
he's unbelievable. He is busy. Be safe, everyone, in all seriousness. Drink
it's
responsibly.
Yes.
And have a wonderful time. We're back on Thursday with other stuff. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient.
No, Friday.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
Friday morning.
You're right. We have to do it Friday because certain people aren't available.
Friday.
You looking at me?
I'm looking at you.
You looking at me?
I'm looking at you.
You looking at me?
You're right. I'm glad you picked that up. It's Friday morning. We're going to release about 10:30, 11 o'clock on Friday. It'll be out. Three Guys brought to us, as I said, Comax Business Systems by Gomart. Go get a Gomart Rewards card. Download it off the app or go to gomart.com. Save food and fuel. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By the Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. And by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. Thanks for being with us. Thanks to producer Zach. We're back on Friday, and we'll give you the final details of the show. Enjoy. Three Guys Before the Game. Out.